Tam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunuyama Devaah Bhadram Pashyema Akshabhiryajatra Sthirairangayastushtyuvagum Sastanubhi Vyashema Devahitan Yadayu Swasti na Indro Vrittashravah Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedah Swasti nastarksho Arishtanemihi Swasti no Brihaspatirdadhatu Om Shanti 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamas Tuma Vidvisha Vahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I silence my phone. Na antaf pragyam, na bahish pragyam, na ubhayataf pragyam, na pragyanaghanam, na pragyam, na pragyam, adrishtam, avyavaharyam, agrahyam, alakshanam, achintyam, avyapadeshyam, ekatma pratyayasaram, prapancha upashamam, shantam, shivam, advaitam, chaturtham manyante, sa atma, sa vigyeyaha. So we meet after a while, and we will continue with this seventh mantra of the Mandukya Upanishad. From time to time we should look at a broader view of what is it that our Shastras are saying. What is Advaita Vedanta? What is the uniqueness? There is something unique about Advaita Vedanta. And you don't have to say Advaita. Vedanta is Advaita. So we need to really keep that in mind. What is exactly saying? What does it want us to understand about ourselves, about our lives? It's something very, very distinct. I think we can use the word unique. The unique could mean that you have a little ego involved. We're something, we're apart from everybody else. But the word distinct is a very important one because it means there is something that we need to know. And there is really nothing like it. Absolutely nothing in the whole world. This is how privileged we should be. It's not easy to understand. Not easy at all. Because it is something which is truly amazing, which immediately releases you from any sense of limitations. So this is what we have to really grasp. And here I would elaborate this point to say that the word Shravanam means, or should mean, it is not just listening to a few classes here and there and reading some books and so on. It's all part of it. But what Shravana means is a complete understanding of what Vedanta is saying. What is it saying? And we must get a complete, unambiguous, doubtless understanding. And once that is complete, and I tell you, this is what the thing is, that it, depending on the kind of qualifications that you and I have, this should take a lifetime. It is not something quick, not like a course. I remember that, when I finished, and you have false expectations. When I left Hewlett-Packard and went to study with Swami Dayanandji, my understanding at that point was that I am leaving this by the end of the 2.5 years of course, I will be a Jivan Mukta. That was my really expectation, honestly. I remember having discussions with some of the other people and so on and so forth. Not only did that not happen, but a hint of what should happen was given to me by Swamiji's own teacher, Swami Taranand Saraswati. Because as you know, Swamiji, Swami Dayanandji, we all have multiple teachers. Like exactly what I am getting from Swami Akhandanandaji, I never got it from anybody else. It's just an amazing insight. And part of it is that I wasn't ready to receive that insight until now. So it's a combination of the teacher and the student. But everybody has multiple teachers. So in Swami Dayanandji's case, there were 3 teachers in his life. And we all know that. One is a person that inspires and presents an amazing picture. And that person was the same for Swami Dayanandji as it was for me. And that was Swami Chinmayanandji. Same person. Amazing. You can say Swami Dayanandji was a direct disciple of Swami Chinmayanand, and I can also say the same thing. Amazing. Even one generation later. But Swami Chinmayanandji had not removed all the doubts, and therefore I can say that Swami Dayanandji's Shravanam was not complete. Although he was one of the best students of Swami Chinmayanandji, which has been proven. But he left Swami Chinmayanandji in the search of someone who can give a more clearer, complete picture. And that happened with his second guru, Swami Pranavananda of Vijayawada in India, in Andhra Pradesh. And Swamiji Dayanandji used to tell us that really, finally, the understanding of what is going on was really given by Swami Pranavananda. If you talk to me, I would say for me, Swami Akhandananda was that person. I also had Swami Chinmayanandji. I also had Swami Dayanandji. Okay, let me complete the third one. Swami Dayanandji had three gurus, Swami Chinmayanandji, Swami Pranavananda. And what Swami Pranavananda was saying was, your Shravanam has to be comprehensive. Because what happens is that the way our life evolves and the way we get busy with our life, not busy, but just be involved with the world, normal life, the power of what is being pointed out gets lost in the picture. And to strengthen the correct picture and not go into the false picture requires a very comprehensive Shravanam of the study of what is being said, including the language, Sanskritam. That took him to Swami Taranandji. And he studied under him all of the Bhashyas, the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, the Brahma Sutra. So this was his, what I would call, so if you look at the three gurus, one is the inspiring guru that gives you a glimpse of it. The second one is one that clarifies the vision. And the third one is that completes the Shravanam. Because unless you complete the Shravanam, your doubts don't go. Anyway, just to complete that, I finished the course, and of course I was wrong that I would become a Jivan Mukta. Not only was that even my Shravanam was not complete, was pointed out by Swami Taranandji. To me, I'm talking about. Because I remember visiting him. I asked Swami Dayanandji, I said, Swamiji, can you arrange for me to see Swami Taranandji at the end of this course? So I'd gone to India, I took in my family there. We went to Rishikesh, we went to South, visited a lot of temples. This is in the winter of 1980. And so I met Swami Taranandji. And I tell you, he pointed out something, the wisdom of which is slowly becoming clearer to me. He said, Swami Taranandji told me something. So Swami Taranandji asked me, because I introduced myself, he didn't know who I was. I went there with my family. My mother was also there. So we were all sitting there doing some small talk. And then Swami Taranandji asked me, what have you been doing? Who are you? So I told him, Swamiji, I just finished this course at PRC, or nearly finished it. There was another 6 months to go. We had not done Mandukya by that time. But that was about the only, and Brahma Sutra also. Those two were left. But most of the other stuff we had finished. So he said, so I recounted to him that I've been with him for 2 years. I left my job. I studied Panini. And so he says, what are the texts that you have been studying? I was telling him all that. So then it was interesting. He said, very impressive, very good. Then he told me in Hindi, he was talking in Hindi to me. He says, तो अभी तो श्रवणम शुरू हुआ है, तो आपको ऐसा चाहिए कि इस श्रवणम को आप अभी कंप्लीट कर लें. What in English he said was that right now what I find is that your shravanam has started, and my request to you is to complete it. I remember saying, oh my goodness, why did he say that? Does he not know that my Shravanam is complete? I have studied all these major Upanishads. He knew what he was talking about. I didn't. And my study and completion is, even now, I would not say it's 100%, but it's a lot better. It's taken me a lifetime. So this is what we need to do. I think that before we become impatient and say, what do I need to do? What do I have to do? Is to really get a complete picture, and requires a lot of study, your own devotion to the study is required. And if you're not able to do it, that's okay. There's always a next life. You can do as much as you can. All of us are trying to do as much as we can. And if our circumstances don't allow us for whatever reason, health, family, work, then so be it. But we should not say there is something not quite right about Vedanta. Because the Shravana means a complete picture of your life. Complete picture. Even though it hasn't sunk in yet, but at least the picture should be there. Anyway, I'm just saying that, we get into all these details about the seventh mantra, na antah pragyam, na bahish pragyam. We're looking at only one aspect of it. But really speaking, slowly what we should do is that each text, each verse, each class is part of a bigger picture, a consistent view of what life is, what should it be. That requires a lot of work on our part. I hope you're prepared for it. If you're not prepared for it, be patient. It will become apparent to you and clear to you over time. So, stepping back from what we were discussing in the last class, we haven't met for a while, so it allowed me to kind of step back and take a bigger picture to the whole thing. Last time we were discussing prapancha upashamam, and we'll come back to it in a minute. But again, not abandoning the quest for a full picture. Full picture means, what is it that Vedanta is pointing out which is distinct from everything else that I have studied so far and continue to receive information from the world? This is a very distinct information. And this distinguished, unique information must be so clear to me that I should be able to defend it. It should permeate my thoughts every minute, every action that I take should be backed by this understanding. This is what life should be. Then the transition, and Mananam is all part of that. It's examination, completion. It's not as though these are, here is Shravanam, and here is Mananam, and here is Nididhyasanam. They are all connected. You cannot do nididhyasanam until you have a very complete picture. Your thoughts of who you are become powerful. They are not powerful yet. I'm not talking about you, I'm just saying in general. Because the thoughts of the world are very powerful. And the thoughts of Paramatma, Ishvara, are not powerful. So really speaking, a full picture means an understanding of Paramatma. Right now, my understanding of Paramatma is that it's somewhere out there vague. There is an Ishvara. And this is what we have to improve. It is not out there. It is no different from who you are. Anyway, all of those things, we'll see that later. But anyway, I think the fuller picture that we must appreciate, you can even see some very simple elements of it. Very simple elements. You should be able to explain it. You should be able to absorb it, which is the following. I'll give you one example. What is said is that what is real, what is true is not visible. It is neither obvious at first nor visible. And in fact, it will never be visible. Adrishtam, avyavaharyam, pratyak swarupam. So really speaking, I would say the bigger picture that we must understand, this is the distinct vision of Vedanta, distinct vision of Ishvara, really. Vedanta is nothing but the words of Ishvara. Is that there are two entities in the whole world. One which is real and which is the truth, and it is not visible. And the other is an appearance which appears to be true, which appears to be real, but is not. So the whole life for everyone at all times, at all places, in all lives, at all places, consists of these two things. What is true, but not visible. And the second one is one which is visible, but it is not true. So this is the initial picture of this vision. And the second part of this vision is that the appearance is also nothing but what is. It is not apart from it. it always remains what is the truth and what is real. It is also a part of that, but it has the ability to present before you a presence, an appearance. And so, going back to that picture that I have, which was really became very clear to me after Swami Kadhananda's examples, is that if you look at a movie screen, look at a movie, the light of the various characters that you see in the movie is really nothing but the light of the projector. And you can visualize this, that the life of the projector is steady, unchanging. And the same light appears as changing, creating images, creating a storyline. Same light. So you can, in that analogy, you can say that, supposing some of you have to explain a movie to a youngster or toddler, you can say, you see, there is a steady light. And the steady light is, and it gives visibility, it's unchanging, has no variations, there's no storyline in it. But the same light can be projected into variations and so on and so forth. And the projections are not a separate entity. Because, they could be. You can visualize that one thing is the light of the projector, and then once it is projected, the projection becomes a separate entity, and both of them are there all the time. One is unchanging and one is changing. Now we got two things, two categories. That doesn't happen. Doesn't happen. Why? Because the moment the light of the projector turns off, everything else also disappears. It is totally dependent on the steady light. So even though there is an appearance of two separate segments, so to speak, entities, steady light and projection, they are not two entities. So the one is an appearance which appears to be borrowing the isness from the steady light. So it's an appearance, sure, and that's what creates the drama, the picture, the movie. So it's exactly this is what it is. That if it is sort of meant for the enjoyment of the viewer, life is an experience meant for the individual person. That's what happens. You grow and you're taken care of by your parents. You grow, you make friends, you get jobs, you get married, you have children. There's a lot of interrelationships. All of this is a very elaborate drama. And to the extent that you are enjoying the drama, fine, go ahead and do that. But the moment you decide, this is too much, I can't cope up with this, this is scary. And that will happen to everybody. Sooner or later, you should really start to question what is going on. And the moment you do that, kind of like, supposing you take a youngster to a movie and you think that the youngster is old enough to be able to enjoy the drama. This is why, it is idiotic to take youngsters to scary movies. They're not, because that creates all kinds of questions in their mind. But anyway, leaving aside that, supposing you go to a movie and you find this is too much. I can't stand this. Now we have movie houses in our own home. Our television is just so impressive with surround sound and 4K. It's just amazing. So supposing you are watching a movie, this is the reason I brought it home rather than outside. You can switch it off. Switch it off. Okay, you're scared? Okay, all right, let's switch it off. Gone. You, the person who is watching, is still there, but your thoughts with respect to what you are seeing and experiencing is unbearable. You can remove it. And when you remove it, you don't disappear. This is the vision of Vedanta. With a difference. This is the movie example that you should bring. So in the movie example, you can see the steady light also as an object. And you can see the projection created by the steady light also as an object. So both of them are an object. When you bring this example to your own self, there is a difference. And that difference is, as I said earlier, that what is the reality, what is the truth, is not visible. Why not? Because it is you. It is really just amazing how this is missed by us. Just amazing. You know how it is missed by you and I? I'll tell you. If you see a steady light, the so-called steady light in this example of the movie and so on, that steady light seems very real because you can see it, you can touch it, you can manipulate it. So this one I can see. These lights that are shining on me. And this is what happens after the class. I shut it off. So that seems very real. Why? Because I can shut it off, I can turn it on, and so on. But you know what happens? This is very interesting. You are the ultimate steady light. You are. Not you have. You see, that's the difference. If you have a steady light like this one, I'll show it to you, just I'll turn it off. There. On again. This one you can say, yeah, and I know there is a light. But the fact that you are the ultimate light, and the ultimate life that you cannot turn off. You cannot turn it off. You know why not? It is Paramatma. So the Paramatma is you, the Atma, which is shining the light on the entire life. Don't you see this? And the reason we don't see it is because I cannot switch it on and off. This is the reality. And the very interesting thing is, this is what is called Jnanam, Chit Swarupam. And the interesting thing is that this Jnanam, Chit Swarupam, is also Sat Swarupam. Sat Swarupam. And then it is Anantam. You don't see a boundary. The ultimate truth about myself confuses me because I'm used to seeing things that I can objectify. But you cannot objectify yourself. You are the one who's objectifying it. That is the truth about you. That you have a steady light. And when did the steady light begin? This is all what is part of our confusion. Just like we have the confusion about a steady light being switchable. Unless I can handle it, I can switch it off, I don't know if it's a steady light or not. But the fact that you don't need to switch it off, you are the ultimate light, means that it is grounds for my confusion. No, I cannot be the steady light. What are you talking about? This is what happens. Something so true, because of my nature of only dealing with trivial things, I miss it. what happens? And that steady light, the Chit Swarupam that I am, I mean, this is where all the confusion comes in. This is all the doubts. This is where the ajnanam comes in. Because I tend to view everything in terms of a specific object that has a beginning in time. It can be touched. It can be manipulated. This is what my thinking is. But this is something much beyond that. It is, you are the Chit Swarupam. And Chit Swarupam means, what does it mean? It means that you are it whether you close your eyes. You're Chit Swarupam. You open your eyes. You are still Chit Swarupam. You are a little baby. You're Chit Swarupam. When you are at the deathbed of the body, you are Chit Swarupam. When you are sleeping, you are Chit Swarupam. When you are dreaming, you stay as Chit Swarupam. The sleep, the dream, the waking hours has no effect on the Chit Swarupam. You are the light that is lighting up all of these experiences. You have never had a beginning. You just cross over from one life to the other, continuing on with the confusion and the ajnanam and the not knowing this. It hasn't been introduced to you. That's it. See this total vision. This is what Vedanta is saying. That even your appearances are nothing but you. In the case of the movie, you can at least switch it off and on, because then you can see the dependency of all the appearances as nothing but the steady light. And here, it just needs to be seen, because if you could switch yourself off and then see that your appearances also disappear, that will be easy for you to understand. But you can't do that, because that's your own Chit Swarupam. This is a very important point. Swami Akhandananda points out, believe it or not, that even Ishvara depends on your Chit Swarupam. Because Ishvara is also some concept. Ishvara, of course, is both the concept as well as you as the Chit Swarupam. So, that we will tackle separately. But anything that you see and experience has to be validated by you. Isn't it? See this clearly. Anything that you experience, good or bad, problematic or not problematic, easy or not, has to be validated by you. You are the Sakshi for it. And that Sakshi, that Chit Swarupam never changes. And yes, there is an appearance of change of yourself. And that is because the appearance of change in yourself is not the self that we are talking about. Right? So, what it means is that the changing I, the sukhi dukhi I am happy, I'm unhappy, I shouldn't have done this, I'm going to do this, karta, bhokta, this is mine, this is my house, this is my husband, this is my wife, all of these relationships and so on, itself is the false I. It's a false I. That's not you. The real you don't yet understand. Because the false I, why do we say the false I? Because, that's me. What is false about it? I'm the one who's sitting here. I'm the one who's talking. There's nothing false about it. There is something false about it. Because the I which is acting, which is talking, which is experiencing, is also a projection. Also a projection. And all projections are an appearance upon the reality that you are. So this becomes a very sophisticated projection which confuses us. And it should be understood to be, through the experience of a dream. Because in a dream, it's a very elaborate projection. Elaborate because you also project yourself as a different person. And then you surround yourself with the world of the dream. And these two entities interact with each other, have experiences, but both of them are false. Both of them are a projection. You see, this is very important to see. In a dream, it's not just that the dream projection is an appearance, but you as the dreamer is not. That's not true. So you also is a projection. The dreamer is also a projection. And so the whole appearance of the dream is also nothing but a very sophisticated drama, projection-based drama. And if this becomes clear, then you should see that even the waking projection is exactly the same. In the sense that the waking experience is a more elaborate, well-practiced, vasana-based drama. Drama means projection, like a movie. And there also you should see that the elements of this waking experience also has two aspects to it. There are two elements. One is a projected I and a projected experience of the I. Both of them keep changing. So they are a projection, not a reality. Reality doesn't change. Both are kind of like an appliance. You know, this is a good example in the modern world that you have a basic electricity which is powering an appliance. And by the powering of the appliance also borrows the nature of the electricity, and what it does in the surrounding also is through its projecting power. If it's a light, then the filament of the bulb, the light, also is a projection. It is also a appliance, changing, subject to becoming bad or good. But while it is good, it projects a light from which all the other things can also be seen. And as soon as the light, if the electricity is withdrawn, if it is withdrawn, then the whole thing changes, whole thing disappears. The filament, the projector, and the light that it shines on everything, both of them disappear. So therefore, we're going back to the starting point of this discussion is that even the I that you are, that you think you are, is a false I. It's a projected I. And you don't know that you are also a projector. You're also a appliance. Not you, but you think you are. What you think is really just an appliance. And behind every appliance is the Chit Swarupa, the electricity, which is Paramatma, the same for everybody. And so therefore, we need to see, my enquiry should begin and end with seeing that I am a false I. Why am I a false I? You can easily see this. Not easily, but you can see this. Because it doesn't last. This is a very beautiful example of this is what Vedanta tries to tell you. This is what Mandukya, Avasthatraya Viveka. That really anything which is not real will come and go. You and I come and go. During the life, you are completely changing. Forget about the whole life. Even within 24 hours, you are changing. You are, of course, changing during the waking hour. But leave aside that. Supposing you are very steady during the waking hour. You go, no, I don't change. I am the same one. All right. What about you as a dreamer? You abandon the waking, completely abandon. What a remarkable creation by Ishvara, so-called creation, really our own creation. My goodness, I am only a partial experiencer. And I assume a completely different reality in the dream. Completely different reality. And then during the deep sleep, I am. But I am nobody. I have absolutely nothing, no projection whatsoever. Complete absence of any projection. But I still am. Same person. So here, one can see this is so. I think in coming back to Prapancha Upashamam, tying it back to it, now we can come back to the verse. What it means is not the cessation of experiences. That is not wisdom. That is not wisdom. So, for example, in yogic samadhi, we have talked about this many times before, does not lead to freedom. It only leads to a temporary cessation of the experiences. And you can mimic it. You can try to do it as much as possible. You can sit quietly, and this is where practice becomes better. You can do samadhi initially for 5 minutes, then 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and half hour, and so on. And you say, oh, I can be so quiet. I have complete control over my mind. But it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? It is because you still are under the impression that you are a limited person. The seed of the thought that I am just a limited person may not fructify for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or half hour. It gives you the false impression that you are now not a limited person. But the very seed thought that you are a limited person is still there. So, until that seed is addressed, how are you going to address it? And it is addressed by the understanding the nature of mithya, nature of an appearance. And the nature of appearance only becomes clear if you have a direct understanding of what the truth about yourself is. This is where I think the example of the blueness of the sky becomes very, very useful. Initially, you could not distinguish the blueness of the sky from space. But after you understand, then the blueness of the sky does not violate your understanding that the blueness is just a mithya. And the akasha can never become blue. The blueness is an appearance in the akasha. In fact, the blueness depends upon the akasha. It arises in the akasha, stays in the akasha, and dissolves in the akasha, as the conditions are. If there is no light, there is no blueness. But the akasha is still there. If there is pollution, you can't even see the akasha. That's what happens in New Delhi these days. The pollution levels in New Delhi are unbelievable. My wife has to go to India in the next, for attending a wedding in the next couple of few days. And everybody's dreading it because of so much pollution. But the pollution is not changing the akasha. You cannot say to the akasha, hey, you are so polluted. He says, what? I can't be polluted. Akasha cannot become dark. It cannot be lighted. It is not cloud. All of those things happen in it. But they are different from it. Exactly the same situation with us. I am the Chit Swarupa, Chidakasha, Sat Swarupa, Ananta. Once it becomes clear to me that the so-called blueness of the sky, which can appear as an experience to me about I am happy, I am unhappy. It is exactly like the blueness of the sky. That happiness and unhappiness belongs to a perceived I, which is a waking I, Vishwa, or a dreamer I, Taijasa, or an absent I, Pragya, but not to me, the Turiya. This is the Prapancha Upashama, Shantam Shivam, Advaitam. So anyway, we'll continue with this next time. But I just thought that instead of going into the details, we should step back and look at the overall picture from time to time and remind ourselves about the distinct, you can even call it unique, vision of what Vedanta is. That there is only two, there's actually only one entity which is real, which is you. And even the appearance of not you is also you alone. This becomes clearer in the pursuit of the Mahavakya Tattvamasi, which we will look into in more detail. That really speaking, the Paramatma that you seek, Ishvara that you seek, is really your own reality that you don't know. So this is where the identity between Jivatma and Paramatma comes in. Until that becomes clear, I resort to experience of the false I. False I meaning just the waking I, dreaming I, which is an I, no doubt about it, because it's you, but it's a false you. And the false you is nothing but an appliance of the real you. And the real you is the one which you don't need to see, you are already there. So these are the thoughts that we will continue on. And hopefully now we're at the end of the seventh mantra. A few more things to talk about in the Shantam Shivam Advaitam Chaturtham Manyante. Hopefully in the next class or two we should be able to finish. Om Asato Ma Satkamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Okay, good. So we will see you next week, hopefully, even though it is the end of the Thanksgiving weekend. But you know, the nature of the YouTube is that if you have time, you can join it or you can watch it later. So I think we'll continue with the Saturday class next Saturday.